I don't know that there would be any like I don't know. I guess I mean obviously I wouldn't want to any Pokemon,
But
but
like, would there be Pokemon workers if we're keeping it a buck
right,
50,
that's what I'm saying. Like if we're keeping it a buck 50, like a lot of Pokemon are hella smart. Like you read their stats,
right?
they're supposed to have human intelligence or something. I
I
don't know,
mean,
dog.
I'm not really convinced that there wouldn't be like at least one Gardevoir house. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
Or even the concept of Gardevoir rights if they're smart enough to form that bond with humans.
can you marry your Gardevoir?
I don't know about that one. Ooh, probably not. I'm gonna go with nah. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Hey, we strangers up in a strange land. Comics and games is a game plan. No doubt it's a fam, just young black millennials, that in Japan. Come see the
have you
pussy,
ever
they
heard
got
of the
all on the
Harkness
anime.
test?
Oh no.
Okay, so it's something that you'll see a lot in like furry spaces or people who have like, I don't know, fetishes about fucking Cthulhu, I guess. Uh,
Fucking Cthulhu.
I mean,
Fucking
like,
Cthulhu. Am I right?
but you're trying to tell me you've never thought about it, like not even once?
My nigga, come again?
Cthulhu. Nah. Honestly, tentacles have never done it for me. Like
I mean, but
I'm being real.
just like the logistics of it, though, right?
Oh, it's definitely funny. It's definitely. I'm not gonna pretend it's not funny to think about for
Right?
sure.
There's probably lots of creatures, right, that you like, even if you wanted to get down with them, there is a logistical conversation that needs to be had first, right? Of like how it would happen.
Yes, I mean I'm definitely on the firm line of like once it gets too far away from looking like a human, I'm probably gonna head out. So even if you're talking about just doing something for the bragging rights, I don't know, man. Like large gelatinous cube, I don't think I'd want to do that.
But that sounds like, a story, right?
I mean, I don't know. Too many people are horny for things where it looks like it would hurt to have sex with that. Like things with like scales and tails and horns that are like hard. It seems like that wouldn't be fun.
Or what about like a slime?
I could see a slime being involved in some sort of sex with someone.
Not like the direct object
I
of
mean, dog, technically right now anybody could crack open a bottle of lube and go to town on it by itself right now. What's the difference?
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
okay,
saying.
fair. Okay, fair. Well, sentience, man. Sentience.
That's not, I want the lube to know it was me.
Oh my dead grandma, you freaky as hell.
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, like, I feel like that's kind of a necessary and sufficient, maybe not sufficient, but at least a necessary part of the act, right? No? Maybe I'm wrong
I
about
mean,
that one.
if it's a I don't know. I don't know. Like, okay, wait. So what is the question anymore? I've lost the plot. Are we talking about where's the line of creatures that are non-human that I would bone, or is
I
it
mean, like,
like
have you ever just thought
what's worth
about,
the story?
have you ever thought about the logistics of it, right? Like a Chuck Tingle novel, right? Being fucked in the ass by the concept of time, right? Like, that's
Yeah,
a,
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, how you're in a conversation with the concept of time. Doesn't logistics come up? I imagine, right? Like, how does this even happen?
I mean, I kind of let go of a lot of those logistics when like I forget how long ago it was, but someone pointed out to me that like not all sex has to be penetrative. So technically, if you just had an orgasm with the concept of time, I don't know, man, that counts.
I guess so, man. I guess so.
Like what at what proximity do you need to be with another partner before when it transfers away from mutual masturbation and becomes a sex act? Like if
I
you're in the
mean,
same room, does that count?
how are you in the same room as the concept of time? Like, even that's a logistical question.
I mean, if you can anthropomorphize it, that's fine. Anthropomorphication doesn't bother me. We've anthropomorphized everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People got horny for the PS5. Like they got horny for the concept of a game console, and they gave
It,
it, big bouncy titties. So like that's all you do
precisely.
is you draw a clock with for the head and the body is just whatever your favorite type of body is. Concept of time.
Okay, fair. And it could be, of course, a cute anime girl with highly
Yeah, just with a
sakuga,
clock for a head.
just like sakuga titties. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So neither you nor myself, neither of us are really into monster fucking. So this isn't really our domain, right? Um, but uh, I want to come out as being very firmly against the Harkness test.
I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why.
The basic tenets of the Harkness test are Does it have human intelligence or greater? Can it talk or communicate through language? And is it of sexual maturity for its species, right? And these are kind
Pretty
of
straightforward.
arbitrary. I mean, it's straightforward, but it's also arbitrary, right? Like it by these standards, Scooby Doo passes the Harkness test, right? But like, I don't feel like fucking Scooby Doo or ET is any I don't know, more
Okay,
or
all
less
right.
fucked up, right?
All right, now you got me. You've activated a memory. Like, yeah, the logistics usually fall around like, is ET mature and adult for his species, and it's kind of ambiguous.
I mean, like, I guess you could
Is
ask,
ET
but
like, what if there's a species that is not able to communicate to us in terms we understand the difference in maturity versus not maturity, right?
precisely, like, think about the dog from Inukai-san, right? Like the main character there. He can't really communicate very well with language, and I'm not really sure if he's sexually mature as his species of dog. But I mean, like, his soul is the same age as the girl that he's after, so does he pass the Harkness test or not, right? Like these questions are, I think, really dumb, right? Because to begin with, these creatures don't exist. They're not real,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like if it's a fictional creature, the only question you have to ask is, are you
How horny
trying to
are you
fuck
prepared to
it?
get?
Like, how down bad are you for this concept?
Hey, dog, while you were typing this, how much were you sweating?
I mean, okay. Will it change your relationship with your friends? Maybe, like,
I don't know, dog. I feel like if you reveal a fictional fantasy like that and it changes the relationship with your friends, you had a bad friend group. That's just me, though. That's just
that's
me, though.
that's that's fair. That's fair. Now, okay, like if I come out though as like being really into Scooby Doo, right? Like I just like have a library of Scooby Doo dojin. Does that does that change the way you look at me?
Nah, because like if you have a library of any dojin, I'm gonna be like, word, you've picked one specific thing to be about. Like I said, I'm just, I'm just, I'm just too open-hearted and open-minded for that, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, like, I think there probably are some random creatures that if I found out someone I knew was really, really into them, it would necessarily make me like them less, but shit might be different.
Wait, hang on. I just thought about this. I don't know if this might be a little bit wild. So, whatever, internet. Okay, so does the 1,000-year-old lolly trope pass the Harkness test?
Uh, I mean, like, assuming that the thousand-year-old lolly is a different species, in theory,
Like
yes.
vampire lolly or whatever. It's like 1,000-year-old vampire lolly trope. You know what I mean?
I guess
Demon, whatever.
she would, in theory. Like, hold on, let me think. Let me think of an example. Okay, what's a thousand-year-old lolly? That
Vampire, demon, something or that. I don't know.
like the pink-haired creature from Mushoku Tensei, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally her. Yeah, actually, she's actually like supposed to be the demon lord, whatever the fuck,
Yeah, exactly, right. She clearly has
Rakshaka or something like that.
I forget her name, but she has human intelligence. She can communicate, and she is of sexual maturity for her species. So I guess she passes the Harkness test. But I don't imagine too many Harkness test waivers or supporters are very much in her camp, if I have to guess.
Yeah, I mean, what it comes down to is, like you said, it's fictional, and it's not about what someone's actually into. It's about what gives you personally the ick. And if it gives you the ick, then it's easy to be self-righteous about it.
Right?
But like, as soon as you start comparing notes with another person and they call you ick, oh no, uh-oh. Let he who is without ick the first ick or some shit like that. I don't
Right?
know. I didn't I
Where
didn't I'm not I didn't go to church
where
as a
is
kid.
fan service Jesus, who is here to remind us not to throw shade unless we have no nothing that nobody would be disgusted by, right?
But then at that point you're just fucking boring ass vanilla and like no one's excited about that.
Somebody's
Does
offended by
does
vanilla,
does fan service Jesus have to die for our boners? Is that what he's dying for?
basically.
Bitch, you're going to hell!
That's what somebody's gonna be out here and be willing to do that.
Oh man, to take the L on, hey, I'm really really into uh the fucking Zooble thing from the Amazing Circus, the Amazing Digital Circus. And everybody's like, nah, bro, nah, I'm not feeling that.
Right? Right? What about like all Pokemon? Like do they pass the Harkness test?
So I have a lot of questions about Pokemon that aren't even before we even get to whether or not you can fuck them. Because okay, are you allowed to eat them?
I
Because
think
there's never any other
so.
animals in the world, right?
I don't think there are
So
any others. Yeah.
what is the difference between being a free range farmer and a Pokemon hunter? And what happens if someone fucks up and eats someone else's Pokemon because they didn't know that that one wasn't on the menu, right? Like,
Um.
because
Um.
there's redress in right now in the world if you're a farmer and someone eats your chicken because it escaped or whatever. Like you can be like, oh, that was my chicken, pay me this much, it's fine. But like, are you gonna feel the same way about like the Pidgeotto that you raised that someone is now turning into Tebasaki? Is that cool, bro? Like,
Bruh. Bruh. That's like traumatic, man.
right? Because people form way too close of a bond with Pokemon. It's not like a pet. It's like another roommate that you like carry
Bruh. That would
around.
like. That would like fuck me up though. But I heard a story earlier today. I don't know if it's actually true. It's about Gege. I think it's Akutani, the mangaka for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, when he was a child, like a goldfish of his died, and he didn't want to bury it or flush it down a toilet, and he wanted to be with it forever. So he like ate it, and
Oh,
like I think for some people, probably the act of consuming for this, maybe it wasn't Gege, maybe it was Chainsaw Man mangaka. I'm not sure which, but whichever one. The idea of consumption um, uh, of the thing that you love, that could that could be cultural. That could be personal. I can imagine a world in which eating what you loved after it died is a form of love and respect.
I mean there's I want to say there's this one of the sequels to Ender's Game is like that. Spoilers.
Oh,
uh,
oh,
but
oh.
anyways, getting back to whether or not you can fuck a Pokemon, I don't know. I mean, again, because Pokemon are the only animals in the world, and we already have multi-purpose animals in our world. We have service animals, we have work animals, we have farm animals, we have livestock, we have pets, we have performing animals, we have animals that are indigenous, animals that are pests, animals that we introduce into different situations. So like, I don't know that there would be any like I don't know. I guess I mean obviously I wouldn't want to fuck any Pokemon,
But
but
like, would there be Pokemon sex workers if we're keeping it a buck
right,
50?
that's what I'm saying. Like if we're keeping it a buck 50, like a lot of Pokemon are hella smart. Like you read their stats,
Right?
they're supposed to have human intelligence or something. I
I
don't know,
mean,
dog.
I'm not really convinced that there wouldn't be like at least one Sanaito. What's Sanaito's name in English?
We've had this conversation.
God,
Gardevoir is the one.
Gardevoir.
Gardevoir.
There would not be at least, like one Gardevoir house. You know what I'm saying? It's
Or
just like,
even the concept of Gardevoir rights if they're smart enough to form that bond with humans.
can you marry your Gardevoir?
I don't know about that one. Ooh, probably not. I'm gonna go with nah. I don't know. I don't know, man. Cause like, okay, even if they pass the Harkness test, that's grooming. That's like the definition of grooming. That's build a waifu. That's build a husbando. Like, I don't know, dog. You went and trapped it and evolved it and made it fight battles for you and that's like that's why fucking what's his face Naofumi is not allowed to date or have sex with Raftalia because he basically raised a child soldier. So like,
I
not
mean,
cool.
I mean, like, I mean, who's gonna stop him? No.
Oh no, stopping someone is not the problem. There are a lot of things you can't stop someone from doing. It's not the stopping that's my problem. It's just, is it
I'm,
okay?
I am not personally going to jump into his room and slap his dick out of her mouth. I'm not gonna. That's not my place in their relationship. You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel like if I'm that close, that where that's logistically possible, if I don't physically intervene, I'm gonna be real loud about, hey, are y'all over there? Are y'all over there? Are you clapping them 7-year-old fox girl cheek raccoon girl
No,
cheeks, bro? Do you feel good about
no.
yourself clapping them? She's 9 years old, bro. Do you feel good about clapping them furry cheeks, bro? You pull her
But
tail to the side. Does that feel good, bro? You
but
feel
but
you feel
but
like a winner?
but okay. But the Harkness test, right?
Right.
Is she of sexual maturity for her species? I don't know.
Separate question. Yeah, because I feel like Raftalia. for example, or to go or if we're moving away from Pokemon, right?
Mhm.
Theoretically, if there's a Pokemon that has been allowed to live with agency out in the wild and it forms a romantic bond with another human of age, technically it could pass the Harkness test if they're of sufficient intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, here's the thing, right? If I'm about to be isekai'd and I'm going into this world, like my physical 3D meat self is entering into this world, I would have a different relationship with how I think the rules ought to work, right? But like,
that okay, because we've been
but
on
like,
this we've been on this one though, because we've been on this specific subject of if you're in a different isekai, the rules are different and it's not fair to judge you for living by the rules of the isekai. We
exactly,
had that
right? Like,
exact thing about but we had this exact thing about motherfucking Rudius, because he is
yeah,
not living by the rules of our world, he's living by the rules of the isekai.
exactly,
but
exactly.
we all judge him for being a little creep and a pervert, even
Oh,
though in
absolutely.
the world, in universe, he is totally in the clear.
Oh yeah, yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like my judgment of him does not stop me from calling him the goat. I love Rudy's. Like I mean like he's not a good person, you know. I mean he is in some ways, but in other ways, like I mean, come on, he did like lock these girls up in his room, didn't let them even go pee, even when he could have easily fixed the figure that they broke, right? Like like that's just not what a nice person would do, right? Like
I mean,
he does lots of shit like
his
that.
get back was intense. Yes, his get back was a little bit intense. He went
Right,
overboard.
that shit was uncalled for, but it was funny and it was cool.
The beast people's culture does respect like shows of power like that. Like in beast culture, they show that beating someone's ass is a good way to get respect.
It'd be like that sometimes, though,
Sometimes, you know.
right? Like, uh, Frieren. I haven't read the manga, but it's airing right now, right? Are you caught up with Frieren?
Believe I mean I'm reading the manga, so I'm way ahead. But yes, I
Oh yeah,
think
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
caught up with the anime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then yeah, yeah. So like, you know how? So right now she's like curb stomping demons, and like I can imagine a world, in which somebody keeps demons as sex slaves, right? And I'm wondering, I don't know, man. Like, am I? How do I feel about that person keeping a demon as a sex slave? Right? Like, I don't know because they are an intelligence kind of really outside of my frame of understanding reality. Right? Like, we just have completely different ways of understanding the world. Right? So like. Maybe it's not that fucked up. I don't know. I'm saying it could be fucked up. It could not be. It's really hard to say.
So real quick before I answer that question, because I actually do have an answer for that one. It's
Mm.
that's fascinating. So are you saying that you disagree with the Harkness test because it doesn't account for enough scenarios, or are you like proposing a different answer to what the Harkness test is trying to answer?
So we went a little bit beyond the scope of what I was initially thinking with this. Like when it comes, like when I look at the Harkness test, I look at it as a relationship between me, a real person, and a fictional creature, right? So like the only relationship you can have with fictional things is like writing about them or playing games or fantasizing, right? There's no like actual interaction. But if I were
Right.
to imagine myself as actually entering, like I'm physically entering into this space, and so there's this different like, I'm actually behaving by certain rules. That's slightly different, and I think that probably the Harkness test is not sufficient. I think you need a lot more contextual rules in order to really base off of what is proper behavior in any given circumstance. So I guess the answer to that is no in both cases. But like when it's just like a real creature and a fictional creature, I mean, I don't really anything goes. You can sexually torture a god of war until the end of time. I don't really care. But if we're talking about like actually I'm trying to go in here and critique characters in their like contextually do a critique of characters within their own universe, then I would still just need a lot more information to do something properly.
Okay, I agree because I do agree with you that like the Harkness test is a nice. It's nice in theory. It's probably nice as like an initial plan, but it definitely does not survive first contact with
Yeah.
a situation. It's yeah, it doesn't. We so many of these situations are way more contextual, and the demons in Free Rent are a great example of contextual shit mattering
Hmm.
because in context, the demons in Free Rent, for spoilers people haven't seen up to like episode 6 or whatever, it's really not. It's a minor spoiler. The demons in Free Rent, they are intelligent at least to the human level. They are capable of human speech, and they demonstrate by like differing demons they've shown that there are differing stages of growth for a demon. So theoretically, a demon can reach a form of sexual maturity that we can recognize, right?
Yeah.
However, demons are purely predatory.
Yeah.
They eat humans for their food source. They are alien as an intelligence to us.
Yeah.
They are an intelligence, but it is not an intelligence that has anything remotely in common with us and the things that we value. And everything they demonstrate about intelligence that we as humans recognize, they are doing that to mimic us back at us so that we lower our guard and they can literally eat us.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's the equivalent of a human hunter with a duck whistle whistling at the ducks, so the ducks come closer and he goes whack whack and they go, oh look, this duck is quacking at us, and then you shoot the ducks. Like there's
Exactly.
nothing, so like
And
so there's
our
no
intelligence to that duck is inscrutable, right? Like
yes,
our the way that we conceive of intimacy and family relationships and making societies, that shit is alien to ducks, right? So like we
right,
don't, the Harkness test doesn't really even like, get into questions of things like consent, not really consent, but more like intimacy
conceptualizing
and
intimacy, yeah,
exactly, right? So
worldview, like what is your worldview based on, right? So to answer your question, in Freerin, in world, it is almost certainly completely acceptable to keep a demon sex slave because
mm,
demons are an entirely hostile presence to us. Like
yeah,
you have two options when you meet a demon. You can either kill it, get killed by it. So if you
basically.
take the third option of sex slave, that is as meaningful of a relationship as a demon would be capable of having. And like it would be difficult to prove that you violated any form of consent that they have because they do not have our human conception of
Right.
like morality. So like they wouldn't you know.
Like, would we consider it immoral to torture a virus? Right. Assuming a virus could have uh, uh, was capable of pain, would it be immoral to torture a virus before, like, while dissecting it and figuring out how to make humans better able to resist it? Right. Uh, I don't know that it would be
Oh,
unethical to
I
torture
am
a
I am
virus.
I am the wrong person to ask about that because I am technically a moral relativist, and that I agree that like all human morality is basically invented. If all humans were Thanos snapped away, the concept of that would also go away. Like there wouldn't be a universe to go whence cometh good. There wouldn't be
Of
one.
course.
And there's also, because human morality is human generated, there is a threshold, both lower and upper, of where we consider things to be
Yeah.
uh close to us or palatable to us, which is why we don't think about whether a virus is being tortured while we develop a vaccine for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
like puppies and kittens, you don't want to test makeup on them because all the puppies and kittens. So it's all there's a sliding scale. So I agree with you. Like it's the episode where the demons appear has an example tackling that. Like
Yeah.
just because you treated the virus, the demon, with the same amount of humanity that you would treat a human, doesn't mean that the demon cares at all. It meant
Yeah.
nothing to them.
and and
So,
and yeah, basically, like, it would not, it probably would not cost my friend. This is gonna, I'm definitely gonna get clip chimped if anyone sees this in the future. But I don't think I would stop being friends with someone if they had a Frieren Mazaku as a sex slave. Probably it wouldn't change my opinion of them. Most likely, not any
well,
more
the
than having
first,
like a any sort of other blow up sex doll would.
nah, I would only be worried that they have a dangerous animal as a pet. Like,
Yeah.
does it have fangs and teeth? Can it still kill someone without, if it gets off the leash? That's more my concern than whatever you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
with
I
it,
think it's got to be
because that
tied up on one
is,
of those like magical ropes,
you know
like
what I
what's his
mean?
face
Like,
used. Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have to prove to me that this thing isn't gonna get off the leash while one of us is asleep and just go to town like that. Because
Right, right.
it's like it's the equivalent of like my dog don't bite, and the dog is like, I don't know about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We're bad
that's more my
people.
concern.
We're bad.
Nah, nah.
Hey, we strangers up in a strange land. Comics and games is the game plan. No doubt it's a fam, just young black millennials out in Japan. Come see the fuss that geek out all on anime. Damn it, they got something to grand and say. So I take from the crew. So sit back and relax and just grab you a brew. No strangers to change, no ain't nothing new. Sit together like glue. Baby, that's what we do. Talking all spirited up by the river, the wicked is skipping one hell of a view. And yeah, it's a family, that's all we need. I'm talking about me, I'm talking about you. And that globe is in our hands. Come on, let's go, it's River Cans.